Hello ladies and gentlemen. Today is Saturday, March the 9th. It's 11:30 in the morning and it's 33 degrees out. Yes, 33 degrees. Day before yesterday we were still at 28 below zero. Yesterday, most of the day we hung around the 27, 28 degrees, and by 4:30 we hit 32 degrees. And it's supposed to be these kind of temperatures throughout March, but then cooling down to -10, -12, -15 at night. And you can see my snowplow truck is still down there at the corner. The driveway's a total mess, and it's going to get worse as it starts to melt. This is the first year I've never had this all plowed wide open, with all the problems I had with my plow truck, with all the snow we kept getting every second day, and the truck spending 2 weeks down there stuck off the road with tire chains, everything on. 2 weeks it took me to get it out of there. And mechanical problems, breaking the main push frame on the truck and having to weld it all together. I was plowing one day and it ran out of gas there, and then I got gas, and the starter would kick out the Bendix, but it wouldn't engage with the ring gear. And I just changed that starter in February 2018, and now it was February 2019 that it went. So I went to Napa Auto Parts and I picked up a warranty replacement starter, because the starter came with a lifetime warranty. But the day I took the old starter out, it was so cold. It was like 28 below zero and about a 25-mile-an-hour wind. And ever since I broke my back, I've got no circulation in my very little to no circulation in my feet and in my hands. And I froze my hand so bad that I didn't know it. And taking the starter out, and when I went inside, I was in such pain so bad that I was just about feeling like I was going to pass out. Now this biggest guy here is the male. He's ready for butchering. The other two are females I want to breed, and I've had an ad on Kijiji for over a month now, because they got to be bred soon. And looking for service, because you can't buy here in Canada. You cannot buy the straws to AI them, artificially inseminate them here at all. And we can't import it from the US. So I had an ad on there looking for a stud service for these Berkshire, Yorkshire cross pigs. But then the guy put an ad up for a 2.5-year-old Berkshire boar for sale, because he's renting the farm, and apparently the owner found a new love in his life and told the people that he needs them to move because he needs a place for his new love. And so they have to sell everything. So he wants $300 for this boar, which I want to get. He's a good sized boar. He's like twice the size of that male right there. And they're black and pink like this, sort of black and pink spots, because the Berkshire is usually an all black pig. And he wants $300, which is a good deal. But with all the problems I've had this winter, I just don't have $300, so I don't know what to do here. I can't find a stud service from anybody because there's not too many pig farmers around here anymore. There used to be lots of them. Come on, get out of there. Go on. Go on. So, and last fall, I could have bought a 8-week-old male uncastrated, but they wanted $300 for that one. So, trying to figure out how to get this boar. He's got a bunch of calves for sale too. One's about 600 pounds. The other two are twins, and they're the same age as these guys, but they're a lot smaller. But I'm not interested in those. And he's got a bunch of 4-month-old piglets, and his other sow was supposed to have... Come on, you guys want to get fed or what? Go on. Try to get in this grain bag every time I try to feed in here. I can't unload these 1-ton totes with my forklift in the wintertime because it just will not start. Get off my foot, you. As soon as I can get 1 container of feed out of here, then I can get this done. But this is a fight every night. Come on. Come on. Come on. Go on. Go on. Those pigs just squeal for this food here. I was giving them hog grower for until I think December, and I switched them over to cracked corn and ground barley. They just squeal for this stuff. These calves, they won't leave me alone. Before it used to be just straight corn, and they would wait, but they love this ground barley and cracked corn so much that get out of there. Come on, get out of my way. Sorry for all the camera bouncing, but this one guy, he's just... I need to carry a hammer with me. No matter how hard you hit them with your hand, it doesn't fizz on them. That was a wrestle and a half. There's Gary the goose. And there's one heifer here. He just walks right over the electric fence. Some other guys, they don't cross the fence at all, but this heifer's been doing this all winter. Sorry for the bouncing of the camera there, but those calves were just pushing me around like I was an old sock in a dryer. I lost count what I was doing here. Well, it's a warmer day today, but that wind is cool. I hope to change that starter today, but I don't think I can do much with the driveway because it's frozen so hard. The snow was frozen so hard that I had to drop the bales of hay off down there that I picked up and then drag one up with a rope behind the truck. Because I don't have my tractor anymore, as everybody knows. The story on that already. Ah, there's that guy back in the... Come on, get. What? Go eat. Yeah, I got them new minerals. Hi guys. This guy's just gonna push me around, isn't he? Hi guys, here you go. Yeah, these three guys are eating me out of house and home in hay. 5 bales a month just for these 4 mainly, because that big heifer over there eats off the calf bale. And this was as far as I was able to push this one with my truck. I was spinning on the icy ground here, 4-wheel drive. So they're a little bit leery to eat around it because of electric wire here, but I see they've been eating at it. They've made a whole platform of manure here on the hillside all winter. I have to castrate this mostly white male right here yet. I gotta band him yet, because remember when I banded these 2 guys, he was a little too small yet, and it was 40 below zero for many weeks. Go on, get. See, that's the reason why they got into that, is that white heifers taught them how to step over this wire, because we've got a good 2 feet of snow pack here, so the wire is quite low. but they do get the odd shock and jump back once in a while. Hey, big guy. Hey? So we're going to walk down and feed the chickens and turkeys. I just don't know if that brown heifer over there, Bessie, which will get artificially inseminated this fall for the first time, because she'll be 2 years old at calving by then. But I don't know if she's going to do the same thing she's been doing to me for the last couple of days, even though I give her grain there with the big guys there. She comes and she runs down here and she pushes me from behind, trying to get into the grain pail that I'm carrying down to the chickens and turkeys. And I stop and I rub her neck and her back, and I keep changing hands and which hand the pail's in. And she starts putting her head between my legs and rubbing her head up and down my legs. Then she starts sucking on my parka here. That's why this parka is full of holes. From when she was younger, she would chew on it all the time. And I had a nice red halter for it that I picked up at the feed store in Kekabeka. It's just they sell feed. It's all GMO free and stuff like that. Super expensive. And I picked up a halter, as long as you may remember, last it was late last summer. But one of the nylon straps that went to the ring, one of the rings, the threads let go. Now I don't know if it was from her rubbing on these spruce trees and she rubbed the threads off or what, but she lost it. But I found it out in the field after, and it's not Bessie coming, it's this guy coming. And I found it just before the snow, and I've been trying to find somebody with a heavy duty sewing machine that can sew it. But I guess that's what you get for buying a $20 halter. I have a surprise coming next weekend. You have to wait and see what that is. And no, it's not the boar. I don't have $300 for them. And so far nobody's been interested in them apparently. And the people have to move at the end of the month. So, oh, there's a squirrel. Yeah, usually this is all plowed out nice and wide and clean all winter, but so many heavy snowfalls and so much trouble with the old plow truck this winter that I just could not keep up. And I think even if it did run without any mechanical problems, I still would have had a problem keeping up. Trying to pour feed to the turkeys into the coffee can here. Alright guys. There's one over there roosting. I haven't been able to butcher them. I was gonna butcher them a while back, but as you know, that old sauna stove that I got in the house for heat sprung a leak, and it leaks right into the firebox, so I can't heat the water in there. And to scald them, that's what I usually do in the wintertime. I have a big tank that I heat with propane for scalding the chickens and turkeys, but it's somewhere under the snow, along with my furnace oil tanks. There's one under that snow hump right there. Gonna cut in half for lengthwise for doing the pigs. I just cut it in half with a torch, and what are you doing down here? Eh? And those guys come down here. Yeah, as I was saying, I can't get these guys into, they need to be butchered. And people are waiting, families are in dire need of food. And I can't get them in to be butchered. They're only killing one day a week apparently. And no matter when I call, I can't get a date for them. So, if it keeps warming up here, I'm going to do them myself and see if I can find some volunteers and just do them myself. Hang them in the root cellar for 10 days to age the meat, and then cut and wrap them myself. I could get a butcher shop to do the cutting and wrapping, that's not a problem, but they want 70 cents a pound this year for some unknown reason. And that's way too much. And they're a little dirty because they've been laying in the poop there at the root cellar. They won't use the straw I put out there. And then they've been laying by the hay bales there. And I put the straw down, and a couple hours later it's totally covered. See, this guy comes down here for a drink of water. I have to carry water from here up there for them. So as you saw from the last video, I was leading them down here to show them water. And this is the first time I've seen them down here since I brought them down here last myself. Now all these guys are coming down looking to see if they can get at the chicken grain or get a drink. See, these guys are, I'm 6'2", and these guys are up to my nose. Those two guys have got to go right there, and that one black one beside Bessie there, the heifer. He's younger than these two, but than these two here, but he is caught up to them in size wise. And he's pretty big too. I've had to carry water from here because for 2 months now, the water line froze in the mobile home, even heat traced. And I had it trickling out of a tap. Just like, see how this runs, see how the water runs in there all winter long? See that little trickle there? They don't use no heater in here, it just runs from the well to here all winter. And it just overflows on the ground. And I've had to come down here with a 5-gallon water jug and fill up on that pipe for the house as well, because I went under as far as I can get under the house trailer, which is not very far since the flooding over 12 years ago. The timber sunk in the clay, and where the water line is, there's ice right up to the floor. And as you've seen in the last video, I tried to get in there with that jackhammer and break it out, but I can't get the jackhammer on enough of an angle to get it to go into the ice because there's no room. So it's running under the ice there and making that pond I showed you. Hey, you're down there having a pee, are you? Where'd Bessie go? Oh, she's down there. I see the back of her just over that snowbank. She's rubbing her head on that spruce tree. I think the young calf, either he took off back up top or he's down there with Bessie, one of the two. But I'll bring this water up for the other two young calves. Pigs. The other guy came down, got a drink. I don't know if the others are coming down or not. I led all three of them down there a couple of times to show them where the water is, but I haven't seen them go down on their own. They follow me when I go down, but that's about it. This wind is cold. Even at 33 degrees, that wind is cold, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that starter today or not. I'll probably try, freeze my hands off again. It's really tight to get under there because being it won't start, I can't drive it up on the ramps, and I jacked it up with a hydraulic wattle jack. I put a safety stand under it. With all these winter clothes on, I can barely move under it because I didn't get much height. Yeah, this is usually all plowed out. Usually the road down there is all plowed out right down to the barns, and this is all plowed out down to where you see the snowbanks where I started plowing. This is the Ford four-wheel drive that I wanted to last summer. Put a push frame on the front of it. It's a four-wheel drive, 3/4 ton, and it run good when my dad took it off the road, but I parked it here and then I went to go move it a couple of weeks later, and I turned the key and it was like it didn't have a battery, and the battery was fully charged. I tried putting a boost on it, turned the key, nothing. I thought maybe neutral safety switch, but I couldn't find it on that truck. Mind you, it's very hard to get under that truck. I had to do that with that old Ford down there at the road that I'm doing the starter, and then I cut the wires and bypassed it, which has been quite the experience now without neutral safety switch. It starts and drive, and you're going. And so I have to hold up on the shift lever, because even if I put it in park, it's still in reverse. I have to hold up on it because the whole cab is coming loose from the frame, and it's all rotten. This guy here, he's the guy I got to castrate. He's pretty pushy. You can see they got horns. I didn't dehorn these three guys. I'm doing an experiment because I've always, for 38 years, I've always dehorned them with that dehorning paste. I never burn them. Oh, there's the young guy there. He came back up. Bear with me, guys. mail. He's going to go in the freezer as soon as it warms up. You know, people say, oh, it costs too much to keep a boar and blah, blah, blah. But you know, when I had the boar before, he got fed hay, usually the hay that the cows would poop and pee all over and would waste. I'd throw it to the, you can see I've thrown it in there for them. And it's like candy to them. They just compost it all, they eat it. They love it more than regular hay. And I had that big 500-pound boar, and even 40 below, all he got was one of these coffee cans in the morning and one at night. That's it. And then whatever wasted hay I had from the cattle, which is a fair amount. You know, it's a few pitchforks every day, and you can see they haven't eaten it all. But this big trailer here, I'm gonna have to, when the weather warms up and the snow goes, I have to take a cutting torch and cut the coupler off the front. That's the 2 5/16 ball. This would be the second one I've had to put on this trailer in 40 years. I guess I built that trailer 40 years ago. I build trailers for custom built trailers for people too, eh? But the pin that comes up through the coupling to hook to the latch to open it keeps breaking off. It broke off on the first coupler I had on there, and now it broke off on this one. And it's only like a 3/16 round rod, and it broke. And there's no way of replacing it because the mechanism is, the pin that holds the mechanism in there is welded into it, and then it's ground off so you can't even tell where the pin is. And I've tried to salvage it before by taking a grinder and grinding where I think it is, and I find the seam. See how bad this driveway is? And it's hard like rock. And if it stays warm like this for a few days, I might be able to push these banks over the edge over here on each side, just go back and forth on an angle. But it'll take an awful lot of gas. Here's where I was stuck with the first load of hay this month. And I showed you guys the video there. I think it was 32 below that day. The trailer slid off, just packed up off onto the gravel part there, and I couldn't pull it out with the truck. See, that was the truck dug down right there. The trailer fell off right here. And I've been just praying that it doesn't snow anymore, because this is going to be hard to plow. But it'll be one heck of a mess if it melts fast or thaws fast. It'll be like a big swamp hole to drive through. And I want to get it soft enough that I can push the banks off over the edge into the ditch and get some of it cleaned off before that happens. This driveway has never ever been like this. When I had the tractor, you know, I pushed the banks right down into the ditches with the tractor. You know, and the driveway is 26 feet wide, and the snow banks would be down in the ditch. But with the plow truck, I can't push them that far. I just push them until the front wheels start to drive over the ditch. And with the tire chains, I can pull my back tire chains, I can pull myself back up. Without tire chains, I won't do it. And but the center is so hard, and I showed you where I went off the road there with the truck, that it's like a foot drop down to the driveway where I showed you there was grass in the last video. And this is just hay from the bales of hay from dragging them up the driveway. That's what this flat streak is here. I dragged the bale up a few days ago. Yeah, so it's 33 degrees when I came out. It might be a little bit warmer temperature than that by now because I've been out here about an hour. And it was already at 32 degrees at 11 o'clock. And in half an hour it climbed up 1 degree. So I've been out here for an hour. It could have gone up from 33 to 35 degrees by now because it was steady climbing all morning. I didn't look to see what the high is supposed to be today, but all through March, looking on the extended forecast, if you can believe that at all, it's showing us anywhere from 32, 33 degrees in the daytime to a few days in -2, and nighttime's dropping down to -8 to -15 throughout March. Now by May long weekend, it's been touch and go the last few years whether the 4 or 5 feet of ice would be off the lake by the May long weekend, opening weekend of walleye fishing and pike. And even May long weekends there's been icebergs floating around on the lakes. And guys out camping and fishing, they're still in their parkas because it's wet, raining, cold, miserable every long weekend. And this year with this much snow, we used to get snow like this 15, 20 years ago. But for the last 10, 15 years, we hardly got enough snow, and people's septic fields were freezing. Why, I don't know. Probably poor installation, even though they're inspected. But I've never had a problem with mine because I did mine myself, and there's only a few inches of fill on top of them, the pipes, and the tank is right at the surface. But yeah, one thing I want to do before I forget is I want to thank all the people that have been using my either Canada or my US Amazon link when they buy stuff. Especially is it Roger Guy stuff, or what the heck was his first name again? Oh, I can't think of it. Anyway, he'll comment on here, and I just can't think of it. I'm drawing a dead blank, but it's no, it's not Roger. It's his first name and then Guy stuff. Great thank you to him. Very supportive. And also I want to thank the few people that have used the donation links to help feed. It all goes to help feed these animals and buy the animals to help feed families in need. All the funds that comes in either from Amazon or the donations, it all goes to feed these animals, buy seeds for plants. Someday I hope I get enough that I can buy a little tractor and not have to do all this work with my hand because my back, I broke my back in 1987 working at Great Lakes Forest Products in the bush. And I was on night shift, Friday night shift. I was 50 miles from camp, and it was about 45 below zero with about a 30-mile-an-hour wind, and I was up on the top of this big coring drive slasher, and they didn't tell me the railing was broken off, and I started working up there, and everything moved on me, and I went down over the side with the catwalk on top of me, and I laid on the ground there for God, I don't know how long, and I knew I either had to find a way out of there or freeze to death. So after laying on the ground for several hours, which it felt like it was probably only an hour and a half, I managed to drag myself on my stomach with my hands. I couldn't move my legs. I could move my feet a little bit, but I couldn't move my legs. and I dragged myself up into the welding truck, and I couldn't roll up my welding cable, the torch cable, so I dragged them 50 miles back to camp, and I parked the welding truck, the company welding truck, in the parking lot next to my truck. There was no supervisor in camp because Friday night all the supervisors are gone home by 7 o'clock at night. So there was nobody to report it to. So I got denied my workers' compensation. So I sued my long-term disability when they cut me off after 3 years, I think it was. So I sued them, and it took 12 years to get that settled. And it was settled just after I was married in 1998 to Diane Nivola. And I caught her cheating with the owner of Thousand Lake Resort, Scott there, at Thousand Lake Resort in Uppsala. Cheating with him in the kitchen, on the kitchen stove, watching through the window and through the crack of the door before I entered. And make a long story short, I'll go into it more one day, but the courts gave her a court order to sell this property on her, and some people helped me by buying the property to counter offer it, because she tried to sell it for like $21,000 when I paid less than that for it cash when I was 18 years ago. That's many years ago. But I put over $90,000 into this place, and she was going to sell it for $21,000. So I had them counter offer at $23,000 or $24,000. I can't remember. So it's a debt I got to pay back. Otherwise, I would have lost this place. And then she got a court order for all my lawsuit money. She sold my tractor out from under me. And she flooded the house, and the insurance company wrote it off and sent me a check for $63,000 or $64,000. Well, she got a court order for me to hand that check over to her. She makes $60,000 a year, and I'm only on a $1,000 a month CPP disability pension. But I'll get more into detail on my past life and more detail what's going on, naming out the lawyers. The lawyer I had for this one was Michael Harris, and I believe he sold me out because I lost everything. All the money I had, the insurance money I got for the flood when she broke in. I asked her, I asked Michael Harris, I said, should I just show the video recording of her busting the water, her and her brother-in-law busting the water line off in the kitchen? Or what? To have her charged? And he said, well, she won't get charged because she's married to you and she's entitled to half. And she just claimed the insurance. So I claimed the insurance, but she got it. She got a court order for everything. Same thing with the tackle by die business that we had. That was in her name because I'm on a disability and I'm not allowed to make a cent. And I can volunteer, but I can't make any money. I'll cut you off. I don't know, it's about 25 years ago. The company sent me a finder's fee of $25 in a check form for sending them a customer. It took me 6 months fighting them through tribunals that was given to me. I even had a letter from the company, but it took 6 months before they reinstated me, and they back paid me with interest. And that's what put all that money is what put the root cellar in and water down to the barns. So guys, I think that's it for today. I'm going to try and get that starter in, I think. Even though it's windy, it feels cold, but it's not that freezing cold. And at least get the truck up here so that if I get stuck, I can at least have a truck on this side to help pull me. So if you guys can use the American or the US .com drawing a blank here. What's it called? Come on, Arnold, think. Meditation screws with your mind. Amazon.com for the USA, link down below, and Amazon.ca for Canada. I do find that a lot of products that people use in the USA that they link to on Amazon.com are not found on the Amazon.ca, and the .com doesn't ship to Canada. But being I'm only an hour from the US border, I have a dropship address at Ryden's Border Store in Minnesota. It's only an hour and 15 minutes away from us. But it's a pain to have to drive down there and get it. But when we had the tackle business, we used to drive down there all the time with the truck and trailer and pick up pallet loads of stuff. And like I was saying, we had the business there, and I lost her money. I put $280,000 of inventory into the business, and she got a court order to take all the inventory out of that other trailer there, and a court order that she was allowed to sell it for $11,000 when it was inventoried by a third party at close to $300,000 value at wholesale. So I lost all that. So anyway, use the links below. I'm having a bit of a problem with the PayPal link, so just bear with me on that right now. I gotta call PayPal and find out what's going on. But take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you later.